love tiny houses in The Sims. I think it's one of the best things the game has ever added, like ever. I genuinely think, I don't know if people agree with me or not, let me know, but I genuinely think they are the best thing in this game. So let's get into building one. Okay, so I built this like tiny home kind of thing. I think actually, in all actuality, it was a small house. It might not even be. I don't actually remember how many squares it was, or if it actually like constituted as a small. I actually, this house is way too big to constitute as one. I think I might have, oh, maybe I didn't change it though. I'm not actually sure. I think that's how it looked. But it, regardless of whether it actually in the game was a tiny small home thing, I still think in like this vibe, it's giving small house. You know what I mean? It's giving the vibes of a small house, even if it actually isn't one because of tile size, which is kind of annoying. Also, like the roof, I think counts as tiles, which is also kind of annoying because like it's not. Actually, to be honest, in this build, I'm pretty sure I used it. But in most builds, I wouldn't be using it. It's just because if it's a modern kind of build, you don't really want like a normal roof on it. You know what I mean? But I had, this is my favorite part of the build. I had kind of like this, it's kind of a sunroom. I guess it is a sunroom, but it wasn't actually a sunroom, like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't know, I feel like sunrooms are such an old house thing, and this isn't like a sunroom in that sense, but I guess because it's all windows, it technically is a sunroom. But I was really proud of it. I never build in desert oasis. I never build in Oasis Springs. I don't know, it's just not really something I tend to do very often. However, I love this build, and I don't know, I find it so I just love it so much. So I really like this. It's perfect for one sim. It's kind of a studio in the way that the bedroom isn't a separate room. So if you don't want to like, you could have two sims living here. I mean, you could have as many sims as you want in reality. But I think it's best suited for like a single sim, or maybe two sims if you really wanted. I mean, the bathroom is a separate room. I don't know if that's how it works in studios or not. I'm actually not sure because I've never lived in a studio. But if it is, then it is still a studio. If it's not, then it's still studio vibes. I also really struggled with a door for this one. I kind of hate the doors we got in Tiny Living. Not hate them, I don't hate them, sorry, that's the wrong words. But they weren't the vibe for this kind of, actually, I'm pretty sure I used Tiny Living doors. I mean Eco Living. I don't like the Eco Living doors, especially not for this kind of build. So, because I wanted to use like a bigger door, but because I used the platform, I couldn't exactly. So I was like, a bit annoying, you know, a bit annoying, but I still like it. Also, I don't know if you're on this side of TikTok, but if you are aware of what Cake Gate is, I want to talk to you because I love being on this side of TikTok. If you don't know what this is, basically, there's a baker on TikTok who does not have okay, I don't want to make things that I don't know are true. She is a home baker. She's called herself a home baker, so I'm going to call her a home baker because she's called herself that. Home baker. And she bakes cakes to sell. I'm not really sure about the rules around there about licensing. I'm gathering she has a license if she needs to. I'm not gonna, accuse anyone of that. But around here, I'm pretty sure you need a license if you're going to do that kind of thing. But basically, she got really popular on TikTok because she charged for a cake, and people were like, it looks like maybe that was not worth the amount you charge. And look, people were meaner about it than that. I'm not trying to like put it down because people were definitely meaner than that. And I'm not about spreading hate or anything, but I think she definitely is charging her cakes a bit. And of course, she's doing the work, so if that's what she values her work and people are paying for it, honestly, good for her. But I would not pay that much for a cake. But I just think it's really funny as well because people are like kind of calling out her cakes, and some of them are questionable for the styling, because sometimes it just doesn't look very clean, her way of making cakes, and I just find it really funny. So if you're on Cake Gate, let me know how you feel about it, because I have seen her and I do feel bad for the hate she's getting. Obviously, nobody deserves hate. People deserve constructive criticism, but nobody deserves outright hate. So I feel a little sorry for her, because it's like, she probably doesn't deserve the hate she's getting. But then the way she reacts to people as well, I hate when people get hate. I understand it can be a very hard feeling to deal with, and obviously, I don't even understand, because I don't think I've ever gotten like outright hate from anyone in the way that these people who have gone famous on TikTok have. But I can understand the feeling of hurt and anger, and you just want it to be done, and you feel like the way of reacting with them is to yell back at them. But maybe that's not the nicest way to react with hate. You can just be like, hey, if you don't like this, go away. And she has said that on her more recent videos, but some of them I'm a little like, oh, maybe I should have been a bit nicer to the people, because while they're leaving hate, it is constructive criticism in a way, but I think some of her cakes are definitely a bit funny. I'm like, oh, that's maybe, but anyway, everyone can always improve. Like, I'm sure if someone looked at my YouTube videos and were like, this is terrible, your editing sucks, I'd be like, you know what, you're so right. Like, I have no right to criticize anyone because I am still learning, and everyone's always still learning. That's the thing. Everyone can always improve on something and always be better. So I do like some of her cake designs. I'm like, oh, that's creative, but I also, the other thing that I actually have an issue is she does take designs from other creators. Now, I don't know how it works in the cake business. I'm not a baker. But I would assume if someone makes a design, it's kind of like in the same way of someone having, I don't know how to explain it, but like, I feel like you shouldn't be stealing designs from people because that's their creative work and they worked hard to make that, and you're just kind of stealing that design from them, you know what I mean? But then it's kind of complicated because some of the designs are related to pop culture, and it's like, well, I don't know. It's difficult, but it's like, maybe credit the person. I think the best way to do things like that is credit the creator, because then you're still driving people to their content, but you can also, use their idea. So I think that's the way to do it. If you ask me, that is how things should work. And I did use a few packs in this build. I'm not gonna lie. I know I used Tiny Living. I think I used Eco Living. That's definitely a Snowy Escape shower. And I definitely used Dream Home Decorator because of the ovens. The ovens and the stoves in Dream Home Decorator are so good, because it's like, I need that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Because sometimes when you're trying to make a small space, you don't have space. And I did include an oven and a stove in that, so like, this isn't the best example. Sometimes you don't have space for an oven, or you don't have space for a stove, and being able to like just have one is so good. I wish it wasn't just in Dream Home Decorator. I understand why it was. It's part of the design of the pack. But I wish things like that, maybe there was just like one base game version and it just had like one swatch or something, just so everyone can kind of get it. I don't know, that's why I kind of have issues with some packs, because they include a feature that you can't get in base game and you can't replicate in base game, because like, I like the different styles of things, right? And I understand that a different style of something isn't in base game, but then when there's an item that just isn't included in base game, it's like with the changing table, not the changing table, sorry, the, where you put like the nappies in Growing Together, how the bin only came with Growing Together, so you can't have that feature in the game, which is fine, but you then can't put the diapers in a normal bin, so you just have a bunch of diapers around, and it's like really annoying. So then you just have a bunch of diapers around, and it's like a bit unfair, because then it's an entire feature of the game that they're missing out on, and it's also like, it's like kind of making the quality of life of the game worse for them, because then they have a bunch of nappies around their house, you know what I mean? So it's like, I have issue when packs bring in a new feature that is half included in the base game, but like isn't, like, and I don't mean things like careers, because then it's just kind of not included and it doesn't really impact on your gameplay really, like in reality. But things that impact on your gameplay so heavily, even like the oven isn't a good example because they don't impact on your gameplay, but things like the changing like a bin in the game, what's it called, in Growing Together, I have issue with that, just because it's really impacting on someone's gameplay and ability to play the game to an extent that is enjoyable. And I just, it would, if I didn't have Growing Together and I didn't have that bin, it would kind of make me want to not play with infants, and that's unfair, because then it's making a part of a game unenjoyable for people who don't have a certain pack and who aren't willing to spend $50 whole on a pack. And again, the pricing of the EA's packs, it's the way it is. Like, that's not what I'm critiquing in this video. It is something to critique, but it's not what I'm critiquing in this video. However, locking a full pack that is the price of an entire new game, really, in reality, most of the games I buy are actually under the price of expansion packs. Unlocking locking a part of a game behind a paywall that is almost like just it needs to be a part of it to not hinder your gameplay to the way that you can play in the base game. I don't know if I'm making sense, but if you know what I mean, like it's a bit unfair. I understand when people complain about that kind of stuff. I mean, I understand a lot of complaints about EA, and I have my own take on them, and sometimes they're not the same, but this take, I'm like, it is a little unfair. You know, I understand how people can be upset at that, and I feel like it's getting worse, but I also wonder if things will change with Sims 5, if they won't do stuff like that, if they'll include more things at the start of Sims 5 than they would have in Sims 4, I don't know. But anyway, I guess that was kind of perfect timing because we got to the end of the speed build. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really like this house. Let me know what you think of it, if you like it. I don't know why I included all of this saving at the end, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a lovely day, night, afternoon, evening. Oh, we're still going. Whatever it is, wherever you are. I will see you guys next time. Bye!